everybody, it's the Bulls Show, aka Aidan, and welcome back to another video. Today we've got a Chicago Bulls video related to a really worrying player in my opinion at this point of the season, with 8 games I believe of the season being played. And we're going to be talking about a center that has not lived up to the expectation of his seasons in previous years, and someone that could potentially be worrying down the line if this continues to be brought up. But we're going to keep talking about him. His name is Nikola Vucevic. He's a center that I'm a very big fan of overall, but as someone that I think we can all clearly see is not himself out there. And we're going to be talking a little bit about why I believe that is, and also what can be done about it. Before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Bulls Show, turn notifications on, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about why Nikola Vucevic is struggling as badly as he is. Now, this is not a video I necessarily want to make in relation to Chicago Bulls players, especially when they're in a down period, because form is temporary. Class is the thing that usually ends up being permanent, and I think Nikola Vucevic is a very good offensive center, but he is in a really rough patch of his career at the moment, probably at his worst period I've seen from a long time in relation to Nikola Vucevic, averaging career lows in recent years, and it's definitely something that we need to look into. So let's look about his stats for a second. His season averages are 13.8 points per game, 10.8 rebounds, 4.5 assists, shooting 38.9% from the field, and only 28.1% from the three-point line. We've seen dramatic drops from Nikola Vucevic in almost every stat in relation to this season compared to last year, 2 years ago, and probably a few years now, to be honest. Now, the stats in terms of the points and the rebounds and all of that is not really what I'm concerned about, because I feel like if Nikola Vucevic can add 15 to 20 points per night, he's done his job offensively, especially in a team so stacked with players that are able to shoot the ball at a high level. What's the most concerning to me is the lack of efficiency that he has come to in relation to getting those stats. He's only shot 38.9% from the field and only 28.1% from the three-point line. Both are huge drops in performance, huge drops in efficiency compared to his career averages, but also compared to last year as well. His career averages from the field is close to 50% from the field and shooting 35% from the three-point line. In recent years, it's been 40% from the three-point line. I don't need to tell anybody that doesn't already know. It's a very worrying sign the way that we're seeing Nikola Vucevic. Obviously, this video is coming off of, in my opinion, and I think the Bulls commentators once again said this, his worst offensive performance in the last 2 years. And that is a really astonishing to see, because he is, in my opinion, on probably the best team he's ever been on in relation to his NBA career. With Orlando, he was making the playoffs, but he wasn't really sticking around. He wasn't really trying to battle it out with other teams. Once he was in the playoffs, it looked like he was always the first-round exit. He's in his best state at the moment in terms of his team, yet he's still struggling. So I want to talk a little bit as to why I believe this might be the case. I really feel like he's lacking confidence, and this is coming from some of the things he's even said to the media at times. Nikola Vucevic said that he always has rough starts to his NBA seasons and that he always gets the momentum and the hang of things later on in the season. Now, that's not something that you want to hear, to be honest, in relation to the way that you start the season, because obviously a start to the season is very, very important. And the fact that he's struggling this badly at the beginning of the season and he knows that this is going to be the case is a bit worrying, because I don't really want that mindset that you're going to struggle. I want him to perform at the highest level he could possibly be. So that's a thing to me that says that he lacks confidence. And maybe he is lacking confidence. Maybe the criticism is getting to him a little bit. And I don't want to be the one giving him criticism. I mean, if he's performing well, we don't have anything to talk about here. But he is performing at a very low level right now, especially for a player that is our third scorer and a player that could potentially be lacking confidence. So I feel like this is a coaching issue as well. With Billy Donovan, I really think he needs to try and motivate Nikola Vucevic one way or another. A head coach always needs to get the best out of his players, and a head coach needs to have good man management in order to try and find the issues that are bothering Nikola Vucevic and how they could be resolved over time. Billy Donovan should be looking and asking Nikola Vucevic for issues in his game. Why is he struggling as much as he is? Because the shot selection's there. He's getting shots in the paint. He's getting wide open threes. I think he's been very good, actually fairly efficient in the mid-range at times, but it just seems like the shots that he should be making, he's not making them anymore. So we need to know why that is. And obviously, again, it could just be what he said at the very beginning. It could just be that he always has rough starts to the season and he's just trying to find himself in this team. And that's something that we need to be very patient with. Again, it's only 8 games into this season and we are 6-2. So overall, we are performing well when he's not been at his best. But I guess the argument is when we've seen him at his worst, we can see how badly it affects this team. If we had Nikola Vucevic that didn't have 4 points last night and had 14, we win the game. It's as simple as that. He had his worst game of the season so far for the Chicago Bulls and his worst game in 2 years for this team. So there are worrying signs there. And I do feel like lack of confidence is the biggest issue. And I feel like the way to resolve that is the coaching staff needs to try and get him going. The coaching staff needs to try and figure out ways for him to gain his confidence back. And that could be on the training, that could be in games, whatever the case may be. We need to see the best out of Nikola Vucevic. Because if we have that consistent, efficient third scorer on the team, and we know Nikola Vucevic can be that player. We've seen him be a really good scoring option for the Orlando Magic. And I believe he's played for Philly as well. I'm not sure how well he did in Philly. It was a long time ago, but if we can see the consistency out of his game every single game, efficiency, then he's going to be a really good player, and then in the end he's going to be worth everything that comes his way. It's going to be very interesting to see how we do with Nikola Vucevic and how he can improve. And I guess the question is, are you worried? Are you worried about the start to the season? Do you think he can recover from this start to the season? Because that's the question now that needs to be asked. Is this going to be a consistent theme of him struggling every night or struggling 3 out of 4 nights for the Chicago Bulls? Is this something that we're going to have to consider looking at in the future when it comes to the trade deadline or when it comes to free agency next year? Is this something that we're going to have to really focus on? Because if it is, then I feel like this is a very sad time for the Chicago Bulls right now. But I'm still optimistic. You know what? I really, really am optimistic. I am truly positive in relation to I believe he can change this. I believe he can turn this around. He's had a really poor start to the season. 8 games in is still a very early sample size, but 8 games, we have enough to know how this team's going to play for the main core component of the team. That is, DeMar's going to get a lot of shots. Zach is going to be someone that could take over games as well. But we like to play out fast, we like to run in transition, we like to be a team that is going to, I guess, limit turnovers and use the bench to provide energy. With all that being said, maybe Nikola Vucevic is just not the right fit for this team. And that's something else that we need to look at. But until we get more time with Nikola Vucevic, until we get to the 20-game mark, 25-game mark, then we can truly start to see if this is going to be a consistent issue or an issue that is just temporary lack of form, temporary bad performances, and he can turn it around. I guess that's my predicament, my stance on this at the moment, and I really feel like he's just lacking that confidence that we don't necessarily see him lack. So there are questions that need to be there, and maybe he just isn't the right fit for the team, and maybe that's why he's been struggling as much as he is, because we are a fast tempo team, we are a team that likes to play with pace, and Nikola Vucevic is not someone that plays with pace, and maybe that is why he's struggling as much as he is. But nevertheless, he's definitely someone on his best day is an all-star, is a top quality center, and an extremely valuable offensive player to own on your team, to have in your team. And we just need to find a way to get the best out of him. I think that's what the coaching staff needs to focus on. And I think Nikola Vucevic needs to put some extra time in. I don't know his work schedule, his work ethic, but I think there needs to be more time dedicated to making some shots that he usually makes. Again, it's in his game. We know he can do it. We know he can perform at that level. We've seen him do it for the Chicago Bulls. But let's see if he can find that way, find that consistency with this team and try and elevate us to an even better level than what we are. And I guess patience is what I'm trying to, push out to the world today. But yeah, it's a bit worrying, I can't lie. But I'm very positive they could turn it around, and we'll see what happens with 16 games, 20 games, 25 games under our belt. We'll see if Nikola Vucevic switches it around, and if not, then we do have some discussions to talk about. We do have some things that need to be put in place. We'll wait and see, ladies and gentlemen, but thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. To Nikola Vucevic, I really hope things change. I really hope things turn around, and I really hope we see a better version of him than what we've been seeing recently, because I think this team is a dangerous team. Whether he's playing good or not, we've seen the record. It's a really great team so far, but if we see him at his best, only the sky's the limit for this team at the moment. The sky's the limit, and if we see everybody performing at their best, even Lonzo, a bunch of other players on this team that have not been terrifically fantastic, if we can see them just get a little bit more, we can get a little bit more out of those players, then I think we have a much better team on our hands. We'll wait and see. It's also the team's responsibility to get him open looks and to get him that confidence that he's looking for. It's everything, really. It's his fault. It's a team's fault. But we are still in a good, positive moment at the moment. We still have a fantastic record. And I guess it's just definitely a big issue that people can see. And that's why I've talked about it today. I didn't want to make this video, but I mean, it's too hard to ignore at this point, so I had to make it at the end of the day. Have a wonderful and safe day, Bulls Nation. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay tuned. I'll see you in another Chicago Bulls video. Hopefully, a little bit more of a positive vibe going into the next video. Take care, and peace.